Hello again, Emily here, and I'm going to do another video tutorial today for a few friends of mine on how I colour my images. So I've got the image we're going to work on today. Now what I want to do is Image, Adjustments, Auto Levels, just darken it up slightly. Then I want to go on Duplicate Layer, set that to Multiply. See, it makes it very dark, but it gives us a bit more of a bold outline. What to then do is Blur, Gaussian blur, just set it how I want it. I'm going to give it quite a blur on this top layer because she is quite a mystical character and all. Set that, and then what we can do, just lower that layer. So we've got quite a strong defined line with a slight blur, but it's not too overpowering. And again, that's something we can change later on. So lock that one. We want to lock our original layer. And then what I like to always do is add a background layer of colour just so I can see what I'm doing when I'm colouring. So I just need to change that size. There we go. And of course even slot that in at the very bottom. So now we've got the basis to work from. So again, we lock that layer, add in a new layer, and sandwich it between the background layer and the two line arts. And now we can begin colouring. Now when I colour my characters, I always go for a few skin tones or kind of base colours darker than what I would plan the final image to be. So for his skin, as we describe this character, is that she's a demon. So her hair is very white with a tinge of purple. A tinge of teal would be nice. So actually go for a dark teal for her hair. Doesn't really matter what brush you use for this beginning, because you just add in the base colour. For her skin, said she is very pale, and again with a slight blue tint, so we're actually just going to go for more of a grey tone here. Yeah, and just continue until you've got the whole image with the base tones you want. Hello, welcome back, and as you can see we now have our base tones. And I say they do look very dark, but I will be lightening them up. I've changed a few things around on here since last time. So now, let's crack on the colouring. And the first things we want to do though is just remove the top two layers and the back layer, just to spot any things we've missed in the silhouette. As you can see here, we've still got some of the dark blue coming through. So we simply just colour that in. There's a few minor little things like the edge of the neck here and the ear and the eyes, but we don't need to worry about that too much because the line art does cover that in. Background back. So now we want to lock this layer. Select the colours of what we're going to work on first. So we're going to work on the skin tone. Add a new layer and begin working. What I like to do is bring this quite highly up around there, and put our opacity all the way down to 10 or 11 as my thing wants it to be. You go 10 and use very soft, quite a big brush, just get the initial. Kind of a mix of light source, but mainly coming from over here. Let's get one covering it completely over. And as you can see here, you've just built up the light a little bit more on this side. And then we just add in And just slowly starting to make this skin tone a lot lighter. And just picking up on the sections where we want it a bit more. Right, the area around the eyes we still keep quite dark. And the same for the inside of the ears as well. On the chin. Okay, and now it's time we actually go darker. Bring out some of the darker tones. Just one example, and do this very lightly if using a Wacom, which will get a much finer point. Get some of the details there. Collarbone. Leave your chin. Zoom in. Sometimes I know some people will do the lower lights on a separate layer, just so it won't interfere with the lighter tones too much. Darken that edge of the ear slightly. The ears I'm not going to do too much work on, because on my finishing touches, I might add a bit of fur to them. Just give them a bit more of that supernatural element. I'm going to slightly darken the lip area. The lips we're actually going to cover on another layer. Just on the jawline there, just to give it a bit more definition. On her nose. Just darken the very end of the nose there. But again, that's a bit more of a style thing. That's something I like to do in my pictures. Just above the eyes there. Right. Now, so as we go even lighter again. This is where we pick up. Again, just on certain areas. There we go. So that's our skin tone pretty much done. And again, later on you can go back, add freckles, add again a few more light tones. Just to give a bit more flavour. So now we just quickly erase all the bits of that skin tone that have gone onto the other layer, the other colours even. Do her neck. Again, this hairline right here is something a lot of people struggle with. Something I find a bit daunting at times. What I always recommend to people is when you colour it, do a very soft brush along the hairline. And then you can either do it on the skin tone, but I prefer to do it on the hair tone. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So just make sure we raise the eyes. There we go. Zoom back out. There, so that's a basic skin tone. Now quickly do the eyes. Things like eyes, depending on how big your picture is or how much detail you want to give, so when you can get away with keeping the eyes incredibly simple. But always do it on another layer from your skin tone, just in case you say we get that colour spill, because now we've done all that skin tone work, it comes to doing the eyes, if any red goes over into the skin tone and we erase it, we'll erase the work we've currently done. So always make sure to start a new layer, lock your skin tone layer, and then begin. So the eyes, you don't have to be as conservative with keeping to the same spectrum. Everyone has different tones in their eyes, different shades of blue. Some have hazel eyes, so especially for supernatural entities as well, you can give them all sorts. We keep a slightly pink feel. Again, use a mixture of lighter and darker tones. It's really dark. Roll the brush down. And with the eyes as well, you don't have to keep that softer brush. Let's make the edges very dark. Now I'm going to take this brush to make it a bit harder. Very lightly, I'll just zoom in so hopefully you can see it a bit better. And then again with eyes, is this picture's being quite small, so not many people notice these details, but it's good to show you as a practice and an exercise. As we'll just add in and what we can do is go in a bit finer, a lighter shade. Like so. What I want to do when we're on this close as well is just make the pupils a bit more solid. Okay. Yeah. Again, it's something that it's not really going to be noticed that much, but it just adds a little bit of practice. And on the same layer that we're going to do the eyes, we're going to do the lips, because there's enough distance between them that if we mess up on them, we have to erase it, it's not going to approach the eyes there. So again, we just highlight the skin tone. We don't use the direct colours, we'll just use something. Just play around with the shades and find one we like. So go with that brown there. Again, colour it in. And always take a moment to zoom out whatever you're working on, just so you can see how it's looking. Again, something like lips is something you can play around with to find a style that you like doing and what fits the character. And don't be afraid to differentiate from your line-up. See, I've made these lips a bit more fuller than what I had on my original lines. There we go. And again, we use that tone and we just go very light. Again, following where our light source is. For our skin tone, we just add a bit more tone. These can be a bit bolder. And you don't need to worry about the light blending in, you just want to get the light shining. And again, go darker. Just to give a bit of shape. There we go. So that's the basics of her skin, facial features and lips done. And I'll see you in a few moments and I'll hopefully have the hair and everything else ready for the next step. So as you can see, I've now completed the skin. I've also done the cloth as well. The cloth is quite easy to do. All you do again is you take your dark tones and your lighter tones and just dab where you want the lighter and just build up where you want the darker and just literally stream across, just give the impression of fabric. But I wanted to show you, rather than just skipping ahead and come back later, is how I do the hair. Hair can be a little bit different. So what I actually want to do first is add in some darker tones, just around the roots, right here. And let's brush a tiny bit smaller. And just at the bases and the curls. Because her hair is curly, you can interpret things like the light, the shapes how you want. So I'm going to put some dark tones on here, on the other side even, and this one as well. We're just putting in just a quick basic dose of them, as it were. And then, what we then do, is we still have our dark brush, darken it slightly a bit more. Then what we do, we increase the hardness of the current brush, bring that down. You might not be able to see it, so I'll just zoom in. We're just going to add just the impression of a few bits of hair. So we'll go a tiny bit darker. Again, it's one of those small details, won't matter too much on a small picture like this. Just add some curls, and again you can go curly, you can go as wild as you want. But as I was saying, it's one of those details like the eyes that people aren't really going to notice that much. But for those who do, it makes such a big difference. Right, now we go lighter. So again, rather than going straight into the white, we keep it still slightly blue. Take a big brush over the skin. Now we want to go completely over. So you can still see we've got some of our dark tones come in and some of those lights in now. Go in for a lighter tone. Again, building up a bit more where our light is planning to be. Again, we just bring that smaller. And now we want to go brighter, a little bit harder. And like we'll do with the darker ones. bring in a few lighter tones. Ready? Sorry, my cat was doing something weird then. And then again, if you feel like it's gone a bit too, actually, just bring in our darker tone again. Sorry, my cat playing up again. I don't know if you can hear that. And there we have it. So now I just need to, again, get rid of all the eraser marks. I won't bore you with that. However, what I wanted to show you, something I promised earlier, is how we do hairlines. Zoom in. And as you might have noticed, I've added a bit more white to the hair just to make that a bit more spooky. Yeah, oh, wrong brush. So we take our eraser. Again, we have it as it's maximus softness, so the lowest on the hardness one. And then we slowly, just gradually build up the hairline, making sure it's not completely straight. And that's it. So it's important when you're doing the hair, always do your hair layer above your skin layer. Spill a little bit onto the face, so then that means you can just gently add in your hair layer. And as you can see, it helps when we've done the very fine hairs coming through. It just gives that little impression of a natural scalp. There we go. And while we're zoomed in that close, we want to now new layer of our hair as we go into a few finer details. I'm going to add in the eyebrows, slightly darker, and her hair is more grey. Lower that down, bring up the hardness slightly. And again, we don't want to go too high on our opacity, we want to keep it at 10, just so we can build it up. And if we really want to, we can then go a bit lighter and just add a bit of light tone in areas, just to give it a bit more form. So now, as I said, now we want to go on to our details. So we've got the ear here that I said I wanted to add a little bit of fur to. Now, what you can do, like I showed you how to make your own custom brushes in an earlier video, you can either use a custom brush you've made. I do want to have one down here somewhere for fur, if I can find it. Oh, I did. Look. That's a bit too... well, it appears I've lost that one. Oh well. So we'll just use one of our brushes. Keep the arms quite low. All we want to do is just quickly dab a few bits. We can actually make this slightly higher, more opacity. And what you can do, the impression of just a little bit thing, is just quickly dab stuff on. And now I'm actually going to just do a quick relay Just gently adding that in there. Again, it go over. Make sure not to keep these in a definite pattern, just keep it quite erratic, it makes it a bit more natural. We're just quickly going to go across to my DeviantArt page. We'll load up. Because this particular character is based on a demon, we're just going to find my image of the original demon's form. That unfortunately is on my hard drive at the moment and not plugged in. And it's a bit of free advertisement on my page. Let's go on here. There we go, so this is the demon form of this creature. What I want to check is just on her ears. You can see her ears are white, but they actually go teal at the end. So we want to keep that in mind, this character. So again, just find a nice dark teal. And again, just slightly dab that in. Just along the edges of it here. There we go. You ready just to briefly mark those? What you'll find when you go up this close, especially towards the end, you'll find little things that have either been missed or gone over. So on here, we go down to our dress layer and just get rid of that little bit there that's filled over. Yep. So again, lock that again. Now we'll move on to the brooch. When it comes to metal, and especially with a small bit like this, you don't need to worry too much. So again, start with just go darker, go lighter. Just quickly go. Remembering that most of our shadow is on the right side. I'm just colouring the middle bit there, just to get a bit more definition in a goat symbol. We take our lighter one, and depending on the surface of your metal as well, if it's something that's completely smooth, you'll just probably want to go over like that. And again, lower our opacity back down to 10. Or if you've got something like pressed metal or textured metal, you just do little dots roughly where you want it going. So we've got a shape we're happy with. Make sure we got our erase again. Just go around the edges just in case. Remember to keep, every once in a while, keep zooming out. Just check over things. And what you need to do every once in a while, just remove your line out to see how it's looking without the original lines. So we've got some definite shapes. We've not got too much overspill. And this is also a time you can work out whether or not you want to keep the original line up or actually keep going to find things out and actually make it completely digital or add in your own digital line art. One thing I have noticed there seems to be some overspill. Just check the lines there. So as you can see, it's a fault with our hair there. Go, fixed. Again, one thing you can also do, look back at our face. Let's give her a bit of makeup. So again, we want to start a new layer rather than the same on the eyebrush, just because this is a time where it can overspill. So lock that layer. Got a little block there. So again, we can add. I'm going to give it a tiny bit of blush. If you want to do blush, but again keep it very low opacity. make the brush completely soft and actually go quite large. And then just literally dab it in very gently. See, I think I've gone that a bit too heavy. I'm going to brush through a few times. That's better. There we go. I want to define her eyes a bit more. Just go and take dark brown or any other colour you want. What I'm going to do is actually bring that down a bit. Just want to define just behind her eyes there. Then I'm going to go slightly bigger. Bring that under her eyes. Zoom out to have a look. Especially with makeup, you can always keep putting on the layer and taking it off, just see what you prefer. So I think now that actually looks a bit too heavy, but what I could do rather than getting rid of it all completely, go on the opacity for my layer and just lower it. So now 60, I've just got a bit of definition, but it's not too overpowering. And again, using this method, we can also add things such as freckles and all sorts. So for example, we add a few freckles. And again, this is a custom brush, but it's quite easy to make freckles yourself. Again, just the size you want. And then go on your opacity, lower them, increase them how you want. Or again, keep them on a low opacity. Well, when you get many different textures of freckles, just keep pressing it down. So you can build up some that are higher and lower than others. Or as I said, you can always make your own freckles by taking a very small brush. And again, like we did in the ears, just keep dabbing it. Can't really see it very well there. Just keep dabbing it around like that. I'm going to take that one and make that slightly lower. I'm quite happy with that freckly look. So again, though, zoom out and see how it feels. And also, since we have got makeup, we can also move layers around. So that's it, we'll put our makeup blusher over the freckles for a more natural look. And there we go. Just going to lock all those layers. What you can do as well, when you're happy with certain ones together, you can merge your layers together, which will take less memory and also makes things less confusing over here. What I want to do now is just add a few little bit of jewels to her hair. So you can see you've got a few on there. And her colours are teals and blues, particularly light blue. Quite a nice colour on here. So you want to go a bit darker. Don't want to go completely 100% opacity, so around 30. And zoom in when we want them. And then build them up. You can build them up like the same way we'd colour in. Let's just go a bit darker, a bit bolder. Bits that aren't going to catch the light. Just to give the impression of a bit more 3D. Again, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice now. A bit lighter. Just add a few little bits. So you can also add ones that aren't actually in the line art. Go. Oh, you missed a few. So these are basics. And all we want to do now is do a final cleanup, check where we are, and then we'll start looking at things like the background. So I'll see you again in a few minutes. Hello, and welcome back. I've had my lunch now, so I feel a lot more awake and a lot more with it. My apologies if you couldn't understand me very well in the previous parts of this video. So now, as you can see, I've changed the background colour. I've also added a bit more texture to it. And now it's just a matter of fact of adding a few little details and applying another texture layer on the very top, on a very low opacity, and on multiply. Just gives a bit of richness to it, a bit of warmth. Now, move on up to the final bits. This is time just to clean up any little bits that you can notice, make any little final changes. So now, what we do, go file, make sure to save. But yeah, what we're going to do now is just a final play around with the actual lineup. I'm happy with the colours, I'm happy with the background. So wait for Photoshop to load itself. And what you can do on this stage as well, is if you're happy with your colours, just merge them all together to save memory. Like what I've done now, I've got the little spinning wheel of death. Now we want to go on to layers and just remove those. Now is actually a very good time to go back and link everything you've done a little while. So really, this will really bring home all the layers we've got into work. So we've got original sketch, and then we put on our duplicate layer on a multiply, Gaussian blur, and lowered it slightly. Add in a background to help us work with, add in our base tones. Started highlighting and lowlighting. We go worked on the hair. That was some just little minor details. More little details. Freckles. Makeup. Little bits in her hair. Final little touches. Details on the eyes, extra details, and overlay. Actually, what I want to do now is just remove. Okay, so that's with our original line art. That's the new. We can actually remove that one to get a very rough overlay. We increase that up. So I can give you a very, very soft picture if you wanted it. That's it without the line art, which looks alright, a little spooky. So you'd probably want to add some digital lines if you wanted to go with that. Let's bring that down to how we were at 60. Bring our original back in. Just going to play around and removing that slightly. I think I actually liked it. Bring back up. So there we go. That's pretty much our final picture. So file, save as. We'll let you do it. There we go. JPEG. Oop, cancel that. Just make that number 1. Because what you want to then do is you open up your JPEG and just play around with that. Again, change hues, change saturation, just change the colour balance, just so you can play around with the image and finally get one that you really like. So yeah, let's put her away, save her again. And let's have a look at our final image. And again, sometimes it helps open it up with something like Preview rather than your Photoshop, because you can get a slight variation in colour. And there she is. So again, I'll just show you, we'll open her up now in Photoshop. I say we'll open her up in Photoshop. Try that again. There we go. Again, images, adjustments, brightness, contrast. Ugh. So again, it's just a case of now just playing around. But I'm pretty happy how she is. It's a nice, simple little picture. So yeah, save her as, and that's her, ready to go up. Thank you very much for watching this. Sorry it's been a bit hard to hear it sometimes, and I hope it's helped. Bye bye!